In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to export data or report with the cmms software. I'm going to go to the downtime analysis screen. To start with, all of the screens in the program will export to Excel or a web page. That's done from the File Save menu. When your Save dialog screen comes up, if you pick Save as Excel, the program imports all the data into Excel immediately. If we go File Save, Save as HTML, and notice there's a couple of other text formats, the program exports all the data to a web page. Okay, so that's a very simple way to report. Most of the screens under the File menu will have a Print submenu and then a Report. And under the Print Report, you'll find your what we call detail reports or formatted reports. Actually, these reports are generated by a data reporting engine called Crystal Reports. There are a number of canned reports or semi-canned reports. Most of them can be filtered by date. And I'll go ahead and pick this top 10. So what we end up with is a formatted report. On the side here we have what they call the group tree. We can hide that by clicking this button. The way these work is there'll be a group, one or more groups. In this case, we're grouping by the plant, as it's called here. It's the top level of our equipment hierarchy. And then under that we have subgroupings, what we're calling work area location, which is another level of the equipment hierarchy. If we click on one of these subheadings, it'll jump right to that grouping. Additionally, we may want to just simply print out, for example, the bun wrapping data. Instead of going through and trying to figure out which page we need to print and so on, we can simply double left mouse click right on that heading, and it'll actually open a separate report with a name for that group. In this case, bun wrapping. And we can go back to our main report. Most of these reports will also have some sort of statistics in them. Go ahead and hide that group tree. This one here has the total amount of downtime minutes, the most frequent downtime equipment and cause, and the second most frequent under that particular group. Now at the very end of your report, it'll summarize everything by in this case we're calling it plant, and then it will group all the plants and summarize based on all the plants in the case where you have multiple plants. Okay, so if this report is open and someone else is adding downtime records, they're not going to be reflected in here unless we click this refresh button. So that reloads all the data into this report. This can be easily printed from here, as you'd expect, and or saved as multiple different file formats, including Adobe Acrobat, several flavors of Excel, Microsoft Word, rich text, and XML. Okay, we could also export it this way by using the export screen that's built into the software. And by exporting, this is referring to either emailing, sending to one or more printers, or saving as a file. So we could print it. We could type in an email address if there's an email that's not already stored in the system. And you can see the various options down here. One of the more interesting options is, of course, we can hang this on there as a file onto the email as an attachment. But perhaps we don't want a file attachment on the email. We can simply check append to file text email body, and what MateSmart will do is it will take the contents of this report, convert it to text, and embed it into the email body. Okay, we could also export to one or more printers or fax, and again we can save it as one of many different available file formats. Okay, navigating through this, and I'm spending a bit of time on this because these reports are found on virtually every screen in the program. Navigating through this a page at a time, or go to the very end or the very beginning. You could type in a page. You can make it larger or smaller, the zoom factor. You could also search. Perhaps I want to find the word conveyor. MateSmart will jump to that item in Crystal Reports. Okay, so that is your formatted detail reports, or Crystal Reports as they're called. Alright, so far we've been able to export to Excel, web page, Crystal Reports. Another way to export on the analysis screens, that'll be these 4 buttons as well as this one, would be to export using Excel automation. Now this is different than the file save as Excel, which is just simply a data, raw data import into Excel. Excel automation actually is a situation where the CMMS program here is actually controlling Excel. So let's see how this works. I'm going to go ahead and narrow down my data set just a little bit here. So I'm going to filter. If you want to know more about downtime analysis, there's actually another whole video just on this. Okay, well, I picked the minimum. The minimum value for this statistical function is 0 for a lot of them. So let me do this again. Let me pick one that makes a little more data for us. I'll take the sum of impact time, which is a component of downtime, grouped up by the line. Okay, so there we have some numbers. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a category, line, and a value, impact, and my Excel button becomes available. I click that, and what happens is the software imports the data into Excel, into sheet 1, runs numerous statistics on that data. Here's our raw data over here. And then takes this raw data set and creates a chart for us. It also creates a title based upon what we asked for. Okay, so there's another way to report. I don't want to save that, so I'll say no. Okay, the other way is much simpler. File, print, grid. And I don't know why it's asked me to register, probably because this is on a development system. You won't see that message. And this just gives you a very basic raw grid print. Probably not something that's terribly useful, but it's there if you want it. So as you can see, there's several ways to export CMMS data and report on it.